Welcome back, everybody. So, The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 3 review. Now, honestly, I went into this episode, I watched the promo last week, and I was actually really looking forward to it. It looked like it was really heating up. I have to be honest with you, I did kind of expect a little bit more to happen in this episode than what I actually saw. That being said, it was still a very enjoyable episode for many reasons, which I'm just about to get into. So, this episode, at the end of the last episode, we saw that basically the Whisperers or Alpha was going to be basically teaching some of the communities a lesson for crossing their borders, and we get to see that, and the tensions are actually really high, which is something that I actually really enjoy, especially with Carol. She is basically suffering really bad from the loss of her son from the last season, and if she is basically given an opportunity to basically kill Alpha, she's going to take it. And in this episode, you do actually get to see that as well. You can feel her tension, you can feel how much there is hate for Alpha in every single way, which is completely expected. And I just like that kind of side of it. Another interesting part of this episode, which I really enjoy, at the beginning part of this episode, it is basically doing like a 2 day kind of countdown, or it starts off with hour one. So basically there's a group of walkers basically coming towards their community, and they have to fight them off, and they keep coming wave after wave after wave. And I'm very interested by this. It's a very interesting part of this episode, which basically got my kind of brain thinking, because Lydia in this episode said that's not Alpha, that's not Whisperers, it's not what they do. If they were going to send a horde of people, they would send tens of thousands, the herd or the horde. So I started thinking, I just, it got my brain thinking. So I was like, if they're not sending them, then who is sending them? Or pointing them in that direction? Or is it just coincidence that there is just a load of walkers just heading in that direction? But it does seem like they are actually being led there or pushed there. So I'm wondering if that maybe could be the introduction for the new villain later on in the season, because if, you know, I do follow a lot of videos about The Walking Dead or the story arc which is meant to be happening in this season, and I'm just wondering if it possibly is just like another villain basically slowly starting to introduce itself. I could be completely wrong, but it's something which just intrigued me. I have to be honest with you, and I'm sure there's many of you that probably think the same. Well, I hope you do anyway. It was just something that I noticed, and I was like, well, could this potentially be the start of introducing another new villain in The Walking Dead already? But generally, that whole side of it, the Carol side of it, I actually really enjoyed. You can see that she's really struggling. She's not sleeping. She's starting to hallucinate or seeing ghosts, so to speak, and which does pay a consequence towards the end of this kind of episode, which I find very intriguing as well. Um, Other parts of this episode, and I got to focus on this guy because I absolutely love him, even though he's probably one of the best villains in The Walking Dead I've ever seen. The role of Negan in this is starting to gather momentum. Now, I have watched videos, um, and I have followed stuff and people's different theories about his role to play in this one. So I know he has a major pivotal role in this season, and it's basically starting to unfold. The greatest part about this episode with Negan is you got to see a bit of the old Negan from, like, say, season 7 and season 8, especially when it comes to a certain conflict. And I cannot remember Aaron, I believe it's Aaron, with a stump. There is a certain scene in there where you just look at him and you go, that's the old Negan. And I actually really enjoyed that because he hasn't really been played. He hasn't really played a pivotal or decent kind of part in The Walking Dead in the last season or so, and they're slowly starting to introduce him, and he's becoming a little bit more pivotal in this series. I know what he's potentially going to be doing in this season as well, or later on in the season, and I just liked his role in this. I liked him very much actually in this episode because I do generally like Negan a lot, even when he was bad. He is one of the greatest villains in The Walking Dead, in my opinion. One off. It's very close to with the Whisperers as well, because I generally do like this as well, and you get to see this in Alpha in the beginning part of this episode when they're at the border. you get that sense that these people have no fucks given, and I generally like it. They're very, very dark, and they're very kind of. There's an interesting line where they said they want the satellite in the fire, and she just goes, "Just just let it burn. You could have just let it burn." And it's just like there is no care there. You pass the borders, there's going to be a price to pay, and you just do get that sense that there is tension building now, and it's going to be that all-out war scenario is basically up and coming. And I just love that tension because it's slowly starting to hot up. The only concern is if they overstretch that a little bit, and it starts to become a little bit more not boring. It just when they're overstretching it. I don't, you know, I'm in that kind of zone and mood now where I just want to see, right, let's just get this. I want to see this all out war. I want to see how this plays out and how they're going to play this out and everything. I'm generally just excited. To be fair, I really, really am. You know, when I found out that the Whisperers were going to be in The Walking Dead, honestly, I'm not a fan of the comics. I don't read the comics, but I do, like I said, watch a lot of videos. And when people started to explain the Whisperers, I was like, man, this is interesting. And I just want to see what they can do. And I want to see what all of them can do. It's getting really exciting. This is basically what I'm trying to say. And I actually just generally really, really enjoyed this episode because one, you saw all the tension start to rise. You get to see Carol struggling here. In other words, hallucinating. She needs to sleep. There is a great little scene towards the end, which I'm not going to talk about too much, just in case you haven't seen that episode yet. And it's just Alpha being Alpha. You can tell that she's very, very psychotic and very, very mad and will not stop at anything. I generally like that aspect of it. I like all of it. That whole episode. The most intriguing bit is who was sending the kind of those group of walkers towards their camp, because I'm just wondering if it is, and maybe the slow introduction for the new lot of villains which is meant to be coming. I'm just really, really on board. It's a very, very entertaining episode. I would have the promos did suggest that it was going to be a little bit more of the Whisperers possibly in there, and you didn't actually get to see a huge amount of them. That being said, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's still an enjoyable watch, and I still very much enjoyed it, and I seriously, seriously cannot wait till next Monday to see what happens in this one, because I have actually watched the promo for that, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing how they develop Negan in the rest of this season, knowing that I know he has a very pivotal role in this next season, in season 10, and I'm just really, really excited. I'm generally really, really on, I'm really, really on board for this. I think you can tell from the video. So on that note, please tell me what you think. Put it in the comments down below as normal. Hope you all have a great rest of the day, whatever you're doing. Please take care and goodbye.